Oh, hey guys, Dave here. Welcome back to the channel. I just got to finish putting a sticker on Viper RT10. Look at that. That sets it off. Cool. All right, guys. I'm just gonna break in here. From time to time on this video, I'm actually at a hotel room, so just trying to get this video finished and sent out to you guys so that you can, get your SIMTOOLS working. So a couple little things. Number one, this video is broken up into two basic parts. One is going to be to strengthening the sim rig frame. I had to do that, and I'm including the footage just because I had to do it. I just could not stand having the thing wiggle around so much, and it is what it is. Second thing, my wife bought a bunch of bird food and put it out in her bird feeders out in the yard, so there are birds chirping in this video. I can't do nothing about it. It is what it is, but that's what that sound is. And the next thing, all right, so the super thanks thing. So a few of you guys, namely D Gator, good, thank you, man, Adam, and Hippie's Place, and SQL Developer. Okay, you guys rock. Thanks a lot. Okay, so all the money on this from the super thanks things are gonna go right back into the channel, right back into equipment. And these guys are the only guys right now that are in the random drawing at the end of the year that's gonna win basically the setup I'm showing you here. That's the controller, the Arduino IBTs, and all of that kind of stuff. I'll get more details on that later, but they're in the drawing. So hey, if anybody else thinks that this is some valuable content, just hey, and you want to send me some super thanks, yeah, hey, your name's going on the list too. Thanks a lot. All right, let's go. All right, guys, before we jump in and start putting SIMTOOLS back on here and I show you how to use that, the last time I was in this rig, man, this thing just shook all over the place. Look at that little video. So what I've decided to do is I just can't deal with that, and nobody else can either. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use some of this 1-inch steel. It's the same as I built the rear frame from, and I'm just going to extend this frame out and attach these to it. It's just going to hook everything together a lot better than just this little piece in the middle, which that barely worked. I mean, it did bring it together, but definitely I'm going to run these pieces along the side. And let me do something for me. Okay, so I got this old monitor. I'm going to mount it right about here. I'm going to mount it directly to the frame, which means I got to build a little bit more structure to this so that it doesn't like wiggle around or anything. Well, let me show it to you real quick. All right, so this type of monitor, there's a base plate that comes off, and right in here there's a mechanism that I'm going to unbolt this, and it should have some strength so that I can bolt it straight up here so that it's much easier to see when I'm driving there rather than looking at a laptop off in the distance. All right, well, I'm barely moving this with my hand. That's just unacceptable. Let's get some cutting done and make this thing a lot stronger. Approximately 20, well, let's go with 2 feet. That way, these are 1 inch by 72 inches, so that's 6 foot. So if I cut it into 2 foot sections, at least I'll have enough metal to do this with. All right, so I measured out 2 foot, 24 inches. I make a mark right here. Now, you may not be able to see that mark very well, but I can see it. But it helps you just cut right down that line because you can see it while you're cutting. Even though it doesn't have to be completely square, if you use a like a carpenter's square, yeah, you can make a line on every side. All right, so since this is going to be butted up against here, I'm going to just line this up and just grind it off. I'll make a mark with this pen, and I'll just grind this one little area off. I'm getting better at welding, but I'm not real good. I always use the acetone to clean off. Oh yeah, and you have to remove the paint. But if you use acetone to clean everything off, you have a better chance of making your welds stick. And put the acetone away. Don't let it near here, or you'll have an explosion. I know I got a fan on in here, but it's literally 92 degrees right now. What I'm going to try to do is tack this in first, and then put a few tacks here. Oh, helps if I have the ground hooked up. Alright, so let's take a look real quick. I did scrape them off with a wire brush. They're cool now, not too bad. I've got one up front, a couple in the back. I've disassembled the part of the monitor that, just the plastic part. And we're just going to have a little bit of adjustability. We can go up and down. We're going to mount 2 of these bars to the chassis. We'll strengthen it, and then 2, or at least 1 going crossways. So at least I'll be able to pull the screen up. It's still pretty close to the wheel. Something like that. Let's go. Alright, for now, these tacks should be good enough to hold it in place. I drilled the holes right here to mount this on here. And they're going to be fastened right here. I'm just going to go ahead and tack this on, and then we'll strengthen it up. Alright, so we put in this little brace that should make it a little bit stiffer and keep it steady. Alright, so let's see if we can get through this. I strengthened up the chassis for this 2 degree of freedom seat mover. We've got a little adjustable monitor. It's going to make it a little bit easier for me to control it and get SIMTOOLS on this thing and actually see what I'm doing instead of looking down there. Let's get going. Double check SMC3, and then we'll move right on to SIMTOOLS. Alright guys, now I've done a lot of videos on SMC3, Arduinos, motor drivers, and all this different stuff, and so you're probably familiar with this page. If you're not, just go to xsimulator.net, right? xsimulator.net, type that in somewhere up in the search, and you'll end up landing on this page. Now this is kind of the page that we've been, we designed, or we built, the wiring diagram and all that stuff. This is SIMTOOLS right here. There's 2 different parts to SIMTOOLS. So you got the game engine, and then you have the game manager. So the first part we're going to be going over is the game engine. And remember, you can download your SMC3s, utilities, and the Arduino load file right here on this site. SMC3. This kind of goes over explaining it, even though I already have. And there are the SMC3 things. So here we go. Let's click to the next page. This is xsimulator.net, and this is where you can download SIMTOOLS. Now, to download it, you can download it for free, but I would actually get the program. It's pretty cool. Here's some of the stuff. This is the profile editor. This is the game manager. So this is the game manager that helps you run the different games. So we're going to close that down. Just another picture of it. This is the game engine. So we're gonna be working on the game engine first, and we're gonna be setting up the interface settings and then the access assignments, and we're gonna do some output testing before we go into the game engine, where we load up whatever game we got, which right now the free game is Live for Speed. So we're gonna be doing that, and we'll be testing out the settings here on the game engine, and all the axes are just motors. So this would be like your left motor and your right motor, and you can mess around with that kind of stuff. What I did was I bought a SIMTOOLS license. So to get a license, I think I bought the DIY license. But because it came with all, it works with all the games, game manager and game engine, but I wanted it to work with the game dash too. So eventually I popped for 69 pounds or $69.99 so I could get the game dash, and so far I just haven't had time to run it because I've got these C-Flow fans, and I just haven't had a chance to run this yet. And incidentally, guys, this is what I gave away thanks to Dustin, the developer of this software. I gave this away last December. I gave away like 4 or 5 copies. Random drawing. You know, I don't know if you remember. I know D Gator was in there. Anyway, so this is a lifetime license also. But anyway, so I just bought the DIY license because, you know, hey, I'm not professional or anything like that. But so you want to do that, and then SIMTOOLS, that program works with these different game plugins, and you can go to their page and just read on this stuff. But if you watch some of my videos, you can see, I mean, like how to set it up and all these different things. So what I ended up doing when I got the game plugins, so I looked down at the list and I looked at all these different games. They were so freaking cool. I mean, this is all motion plugins for these different games. And they got racing games, truck games, car driving simulations, and flight. And so eventually I want to get Cliffs of Dover and do some flight. But, oh, and I do have this, and it freaking works. So anyway, well, let's go back up to the top. So you would want to buy one of your plugins. You get the plugin for Need for Speed right away for free. So that's what we're going to be testing because it is free. But you could buy the game plugins, and here we go. All right, no more of this. You can look it up on yourself. Let's go. All right. Okay, so you can see that I got SMC3 up. Put it on manual over here. Let's take another quick look. Yeah, the monitor's a little bit shaky. I could use a side support. Put it on motor 2. Alright, so we are ready for SIMTOOLS. Now we don't need this anymore. We just got to remember that it's on COM5. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up SIMTOOLS. We started up the game engine. Now, when we were at SMC3, we were on COM5. Now, there is a problem. If you're running SMC3 and then try to run SIMTOOLS, SMC3 has already grabbed hold of COM5, and so SIMTOOLS is going to say, well, it's not going to say COM5. It's just not going to know. It's not going to be able to access it. So right now it's red. Just close that down. Right here on interface 1, we got COM5 50,000, 8 data bits, no parity, and 1 stop bit. Output bit range 10 and binary. In the interface output, we want to paste in here, and I'll put this bigger up on the screen. A axis 1A and B axis 2A. We want to save that, and there we go. Now, for access assignments, In this, we're only going to have pitch and roll. We could have a heave, a yaw, surge, extra one, which is traction loss. So, but all we're going to do is pitch and roll. And we may do like sway. Oh, we got sway over here. So let's put this. Let's do pitch first. So pitch is going to be going forward, or the seat going forward or backwards. We are going to put in. I'm going to put in 30%. And we'll just see what happens. And we don't know what it's going to look like, so we're just going to save it. We're going to go now to output testing and turn it on. I can feel the chair move. So pitch. This seems like a roll to me. So we're going to turn this. What it's doing, one of the motors needs to be reversed, and we don't know which one it is. We're going to shut this off. And we're going to go back to axis assignments, and we're going to flip one. We don't know which one, so we're going to use this little switch here. And we're going to save it. Alright, so we go back to output testing. We'll turn it on. And maybe we're lucky. Okay, so at least they're both going the same direction, right? Turn that off. And we're going to go and we're going to look at axis assignments for roll. And we'll put it at 30% too. And roll is more like what we had just a few minutes ago. Put that on. I'm sure they're both going to go in the same direction, but you never know. So we save that. We go to output testing. We turn it on. Now we know that pitch works. Let's see if roll is working. Yeah, roll seems to be working. Pitch goes forward and backwards. So right now we're doing okay. We got basically what we need, except for sway, which is similar to roll. So let's set up sway. Just turn this off. And go back to axis assignments. Let's see, direction of force. So we need sway, wherever sway is. Maybe we already have it on. So let's do surge. Surge is acceleration. So pitch is like going up a hill or going down a hill. Roll is the road is tilted this way and maybe you're going around a big corner, or it's tilting that way and you're going around that corner. Surge is acceleration. We hit the brake pedal, and sway is going to be like if you're going down a flat road and you turn real hard to the left, it's going to push you to the right. All right, so surge, I already know that I had to flip one of these switches. So we're going to go ahead and set this up for 30% and 30%. Once again, I'm just going to save it and we'll go and take a look. Now I'm going to have to switch one of these, but we're going to try it anyway. So we're going down to the surge tab down here. And yeah, it seems to be doing the same thing. Okay, that's okay. We'll turn it off. And we'll go back to axis assignments. And we know that the surge, one of them has to be flipped. Now when we did the pitch and roll, we had to flip one of them. Let's flip this one so it goes in a different direction. We're going to save it. And output testing. We'll turn it on. We're going back to surge right here. Okay, so at least we know that the surge is working. These motors do seem pretty powerful, or at least enough to do the chair. So let's do the last one, sway. And when we turn them on in the game, we're going to turn them on one at a time. Access assignments. Okay, so once again, we got roll. They're both going the same direction because the motors are actually kind of wired in two different ways. And I did go through that in one of the other videos, but all right, so let's go over to sway. Put this at 30%. And when you do it on your rig, start with a low number, like 20, 30%, something that, you know, you can easily hit the shut-off switch if you need to. Once again, you have to save it. And you can save this as a preset too. But anyway, let's go to sway and let's just test out the sway. Hope this is recording. We're going to turn it on. You can feel the chair kick a little bit right when you turn it on. Now we'll do sway. Now we don't know if the sway is exactly where it's supposed to be, but we can flip those if when you turn right, it's leaning to the right. We can flip those around. The only way we can do that is actually in a game. So we are set right now. But what we need to do, just make sure that we're saving everything. Settings saved, default saved. So you want to go to SIMTOOLS, the game manager, and let's open that up right now. But we want to go to profile editor, and we're going to keep this really low, 50%, 70%, something like that. Go to your editor, and right here you can, so these things set it back to like a 0. So if you want pitch and you just want to feel a little more pitch, set it for 18. Roll the same way. In the end, in the video, heave we don't do. Yaw is for like a plane, like the back end kicking out with the rudder. Sway is for when you're turning left and right and you're on a flat road, turning left and right. So we want to turn that up a little bit. Anyway, so you want to, and surge, acceleration, and braking. So you want to test these one at a time. You want to get everything down to 0 and just test one at a time. If you want to test roll, put it at, I don't know, 25%. Test it out. Then clear it and get it back to 0 so it's not going to get any input. You're going to do pitch, that's the road going down or up a hill or down the hill. Put that on. So I go back to the pitch and I could set this at 30. I could do the switches. If it's going the wrong direction, I can do the switches. It's pretty intuitive. So you can't, with 2 degrees of freedom, they say you can do heave, so you might want to put it on 3, maybe anything less than 10. But sway, surge, and if you do get a 3 degrees of freedom, you can do traction loss right here. So like I run my rig right about 45% traction loss. But anyway, all right, so let's get back to the other video. Okay guys, so basically you have the game engine, which is one different program, and that's where you're going to set up all your different things, all your different degrees of freedom, and you're going to test them. Now when you start driving the game, you want to go into the game manager, drop down to live for speed, like I showed on one of the videos how to drop that thing in. So you go to live for speed and just test one direction at a time. Put your force at maybe 50-60% and test your pitch. That's the road going either going down or up. So you're going to have everything else at 0. So you're not going to have traction loss and all these different things. You're only going to be doing pitch. I put it in gear. Now it shouldn't really be doing anything, and it's not. but I am getting a little bit of downhill. So you can see the seat moving downhill. So it's probably set okay, so it should level out. And then it should start going up, or pull me back. And yeah, it looks like maybe this 30% is just about right. Try that, then shut pitch off, and then try roll. And so roll is the road. If you look at it horizontally, you just say it has a weird angle to it. Well, the roll is going to make you kind of feel like you got to, whatever. It should move the chair in a particular direction. Try that out for a little bit, and then set that back to 0. And then try heave, or no, don't do heave, because you only got two degrees of freedom, and so do I. So, but I am building a 6 degree of freedom thing, and it's going to be out of carbon fiber, so it should be cool. But anyway, you want to do surge, so that's the acceleration and braking. So you want to turn everything off except for surge, and that should, when you hit the accelerator, it should pull the chair backwards. I mean, you don't even notice this stuff. Your brain really gets tricked. You're not in VR or anything, but your brain does get tricked. And this is so fantastic. I cannot stop smiling after I drive my rig. I mean, you're in for a treat. You are in for a treat. You're going to have a good old time. So anyway, so set those things up one at a time before you turn them all on at once. Like I did with my butt kickers, right? So I got one butt kicker. I turned everything on, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. So, and I do have a little video on the butt kickers, actually maybe 2 or 3 of them. And those are fantastic devices too. But anyway, this is a SIMTOOLS thing. But it's so hard for me not to talk about like all the crap that goes on with sim racing and all this stuff. Also, I want you to think about, maybe joining an online league like ACF. Man, I've been with these guys since the beginning, and it's not competitive, so you're not going to get like iRacing. You're going to get, people being mad at you and all these different things. This is ACF, so Assetto Corsa Friends. It's like the most fun thing. I just wish I wish I could drive all the races. I can only join on Saturdays. That's the only time I got. Here's a plug for those guys. But whatever. All right, I'm coming. So hit me up on the Discord, or just send me a note, and I'll send you an invite. I think we got like maybe 20 guys racing. We got like maybe 80 guys on the channel. So anyway, back to it. We already did them all. Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna get this thing going. Like, once again, just take it for what it's worth. You can build this stuff. I did in my spare time. I didn't really put a whole lot of effort into it, and you can do it. And right now, I think there's probably been maybe 15 people that have watched my videos, and they actually have built their own. I mean, some of them are just like crazy. So it's just getting you started, and just paving the way, showing you that you can do it. Because I know you can do it. You just gotta want to do it bad enough. And like this little monster here, I wanted to do that thing bad enough. This thing here, we'll see how it goes. Eventually, if it goes really good, eventually I want to take those motors, start moving them inboard. I'm gonna do some amp tests when I get it rolling really good, see what kind of amps it's pulling. It's been sitting there running for literally 3 hours right now this afternoon, and it is maybe 92 degrees. I mean, pretty freaking humid out here. It seems to have no problem. So, all right, let's go. Let's get it going.